Murdoch. I'm coming to get you.
Remember, Sally, when I promised to kill you last? I lied. Get off my plane.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
John, I'm not gonna shoot you between the eyes. Shoot you between the balls.
The disease. But I'm the cure.
I'm gonna take you to the bank, Senator Trent. There can be only one.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
Yippee-ki-yay. I'm going to kill them all, sir.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Gimme Back My Action Movies in Space.
Space. Do that again. Oh, yeah.
There we go. We all got it in there. I am one of your hosts, Charlie. With me, as always, is Nate. Say hello to the people, Nate.
Hello there.
And next to that beautiful Obi-Wan Kenobi voice is Pete. What's up, Pete?
Morning, I say.
Oh, we got the Yoda here.
Oh, yeah,
all right.
Obi-Wan, and then I'll just do some. Yeah, it's
That's
not
right.
good though.
No, we'll
Me
take
and
it.
voices are not.
You don't sit at your desk practicing, obviously.
I don't sit
Yeah,
at my
you
desk
don't
practicing.
watch movies and mock
and
them the entire time.
I've ruined my voice over many years, and it is not as flexible as it used to be. So
Well, that's what happens when you blow into a trombone.
That's right.
God damn it.
Or,
That's when you blow into a triangle, right? Son of a
yeah,
bitch.
something
That's
like
what I
that.
would've
Son
said.
of a bitch! I hate you.
They have triangles and star-shaped because that would be apropos for this
It's
episode.
star shape.
Yeah, like a star-shaped
Sure,
triangle.
why not?
It's like 5 triangles. Just ding, 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 ding.
Ding, 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 ding,
Yeah,
ding, ding,
you
ding,
just
ding,
run
ding,
it
ding,
around
ding,
in a
ding,
circle.
ding, 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 ding.
It's like
Try-
death metal triangle.
Right,
That's what I
Jewish
think.
triangle, right?
A Jewish one. Well, the Star of David. Okay, we'll throw that
Oh,
one
no,
out
no,
there.
that's Jews in Space. That's a totally different movie.
Oh,
Jews in
that's-
space. Yeah. Nope.
we're not covering Spaceballs. Nope. This week, Charlie threw us a little bit of a curveball.
Yeah. Yep.
We had a movie picked. Things happened. We had to
Mhm.
kind of switch
Mhm.
gears. Not a problem. Scheduling. I will say scheduling. But I wanted the same vibe for the movie we had picked. So I didn't want anything like hard R or anything like that. And I dug deep and I went, I think this counts where I can cover The Last Starfighter on the show. So I tossed it to you guys and you guys responded
I
really
cannot-
enthusiastically.
I can't thank you enough. Thank you for
Yeah.
suggesting this. You
Yeah.
you tossed this on my plate, and I went, that's a movie I haven't thought about in many years.
Which is
And-
this is pretty apropos for what we do here. Is like
Yeah.
Pete's like, I've seen it, I just don't know when.
I'm pretty sure it was in the theaters,
And I-
or very early in VHS dumb. Is that the word? VHS
Sure.
dumb? Yeah, sure. Man, I'm overstepping my bounds. Let's keep this
Oh,
going.
no,
Charlie, keep it going.
I thought it was a totally different movie. And then I thought it was a different movie.
Yes, you did. That was
Then
a
I,
very
then
funny
I realized what
conversation
movie it
last
was. And I'll tell you right now, 5 minutes into it, I went, yeah, I totally have never seen this movie before. Like, it was like almost instantly. They showed the arcade cabinet. I was like, no,
Nope.
there is no memory here. It keeps on going. I'm like, nope.
I said we're doing The Last Starfighter, and Nate's like, yes, awesome, with Jeff Bridges. And I was like,
No, it's not Tron.
I said not Tron, and he goes, well, no, John Carpenter directed it, right? And I went,
No,
that's
no.
fucking Starman. What are you?
Well, in my defense, this is John Carpenter adjacent
It
Ah.
is.
because Nick Castle directed it,
Okay, that's
who
yes.
also, played a pretty big part in my childhood with
Mhm.
Major Payne
It sure did.
Yes.
and Dennis the Menace.
Okay.
So he directed. I remember seeing Dennis the Menace in theaters as a kid.
Wait,
I love that
the
movie.
live action did it? Oh,
Yeah, he
with
did
Walter
that movie.
Walter
when
Matthau.
was that? What year was that? I don't.
3.
93 was it?
Christopher
Yeah.
Lloyd was in there.
Yeah, he plays the homeless
Really?
man.
Yeah,
I can
Dude, it's
recall
so
'cause,
good.
Dirty Rotten. I'm sorry, Dirty Old Men was in it.
Grumpy Old Man.
Grumpy Old Man. That's Walter
Yes.
Matthau.
Walter Matthau
Yeah.
was in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
That's all I remember of it.
That's a fun one. We used to watch that one all the time.
Oh yeah,
I
watched
don't
it all
think
the
I've ever
time.
seen
It
that.
had the big clamshell case. Yeah, I watched.
And then
Also, Nick
watching
Castle
this-
was the Shape in Halloween.
exactly.
I think
That's where I
Nate
meant to
was
get
going.
to it.
Nate
That's where I was
burying
going.
the lead
But then
there
I
a
got
little bit.
distracted by Dennis the Menace.
It
And I didn't even
happens.
get distracted by Major Payne, which is, the boogeyman's in that closet. He ain't too happy.
Happy.
That's David Wayne's, wasn't it? Major
Yeah.
Payne?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's
bleep, a
another.
bleep,
I
a
haven't seen
bleep.
that one.
It's so good.
Is it?
Oh, it's so freaking
It's so
funny.
funny.
It's so not PC now, but it is so
yeah.
damn funny.
No.
I'm able to suspend reality and for the time.
Oh,
You just realized, it's a
100%.
95 movie. It makes
Yeah,
sense
I
for
know.
1995.
But
100%.
I thought I was woke in '95. Maybe I
No,
wasn't.
you
So
were
woke
not.
in
Nope.
95.
You were barely awake in 1995.
10 years from now, you're going to be like, I thought I was pretty woke in 2024.
Yeah, I think you're
No,
right.
turns
I think
out we
that's-
weren't.
I think that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that doesn't happen. All right, boys. Well, we're jumping really quick in here. Let's hit a trailer, and I have some interesting information for this trailer.
Bring it.
So, I have the Blu-ray of Last Starfighter. This was one.
Of course you do.
Of course I do. This is a staple in
I
Charlie's.
don't. I don't say that
childhood.
disparagingly.
No, I know. I know.
I'm like, well, of course.
But I threw on the special features and I watched through them today, and they were talking about like all the computer graphics.
Yeah.
They had to rush out a trailer that has almost none of the space battles because they weren't done yet.
Oh,
So
no.
Amazing.
this trailer's going to sound a little plain when you watch it. It's a little plain, but I didn't want to play the 3.5 minute long
Oh, thank you.
trailer. So
Yeah, thank you for that.
You're doing
got
everybody a favor.
I got the 1.5 minute one, but I wanted to preface it by it's going to sound different. So here's the trailer for The Last Starfighter.
Alex Rogan lives in a small trailer park in the California mountains. He has a dream to go to college.
You guys think I'm gonna hang out here, watch you shine your pickup? Forget it, man. I'm doing something with my life.
Start a career.
You really are leaving here, aren't you?
Of course I'm going away. We're both going away.
Both of us, Alex.
And most of all, to get out.
You get your chance. Important thing is when it comes, you gotta grab it with both hands.
Then, one night, a mysterious stranger offers Alex an opportunity he never dreamed of.
Who are you?
I'm Centauri, and you may... No, you must trust me implicitly. Get in.
Nothing Alex Rogan has ever imagined could prepare him for what he is about to experience.
Hey.
Why was Alex chosen? And will he ever return?
Where are we going? Trust me. Oh, you're gonna love it. Love it. Look out! Oh, dear.
The Last Starfighter. His adventure in space is about to begin.
So they couldn't get movie trailer guy.
Nope.
That voice sounds. Do you remember? Okay, Nate, I don't know when the transition happens, but Pete, I know you do. When we were in school, they would get like the reel to reel, and then they had to hit the tape recorder play button at the same time. So you'd have the reel to reel video on the projector, but the audio was a cassette.
Oh,
It
yeah.
sounds like the dude that would voice those.
Yeah, I didn't have that.
Yeah. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3, 2, press the button.
In my time, we just had the VHS and the TV on the cart.
We
That's all.
eventually got that, but I remember
It was-
vividly in like elementary school.
Yeah.
It was
That's amazing.
a
I didn't know that was a
reel-to-reel.
thing.
Sure.
and it would
Sure.
have a countdown, and it'd be like 3, 2, 1 on the screen, and you had to hit play. And a lot of times the teacher would make like one kid responsible for hitting the play button
Mhm.
right.
Oh
on.
man, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And
you're
then
like,
it
you were-
plays the video. It's like, this is your brain on drugs.
Well, it would
And it's
be
like a
Right.
frying egg.
Right.
it was more like stories. Like you'd see the pictures pop up, and then it was telling a story. And a lot of times it was about the lesson. Anyway, that's what that dude sounded like.
Okay.
And then I love how the entire trailer is just up to the point of Centauri and him getting in the car and leaving. And basically they say, we'll see you in space, which means we haven't done the space
We haven't done
yet.
shit. Yeah, we're still catching up. Right.
This trailer, though, I'm like, all right, I understand why this movie flopped, because if I saw that trailer, like,
Dude,
this looks boring as all get out.
Before we get into it, I just a couple things. This movie had a lot going for it, and I think it failed itself on so many levels. Like there were very few tie-ins. Like this is the age of McDonald's and Burger King having glasses and toys and bullshit.
This should have been marketing goldmine.
Right, exactly, Nate. You're 100% right. They should have had toys. They should have had. They did have a comic. They Marvel did.
Oh, Marvel did it.
Because for Marvel, that was like, hey, all the interns are going to draw you a comic. This is fine. It's easy.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think it might have came out after the movie was even out.
Not during.
Yeah, and that's
not during.
A lot of this happened. Like even the what was it? There was the NES game came out.
Atari tried to get a game out in time,
right,
and couldn't.
Right. And they didn't get it out in time, but the NES game came out like a year after the movie was out.
Yeah.
And
so
everything for this film felt truncated. It felt everything was late. Like
that's a good way.
Like Last Action Hero, everything lined up for that movie, and it still failed. Sadly.
It still failed. Yeah.
Sadly.
So maybe there's nothing to this theory here.
Right.
You can do it on time. You can do it late. You're going to fail.
There could have and would have, should have, and been toys. There
were toys.
They had prototypes, but they never released anything.
Galoob did prototypes.
Yeah.
They had Galoob. That was actually a big name back in the early 80s.
It really was.
Okay.
That was
they
GoBots,
were GoBots.
Was it GoBots? No, that was Tonka. GoBots was Tonka. I think.
Who did?
Someone's gonna yell at us. Sorry.
That's fine. Whatever.
Right.
But what it was is Galoob was trying to stay up against Kenner, because Kenner had the Star Wars, and they knew space sells. But by the time they had everything ready, and this, honestly, I think these would have sold. They were going to sell them in 2-packs.
Yeah.
So you would have got like Alex and Grill and Craig, whatever.
You could have done Alex and Beta. And be like, all we gotta do is repackage the same toy twice. Suckers
in the Starfighter uniform and
yeah,
normal. That would have worked. But they did. They got that far, but then the movie had to come out. I think it's like 6 months. They said from when they started production till it was supposed to be in theaters. And we'll get into this in a little bit. So we'll save it for after we get into our things. So. I'm gonna start with Pete.
Yeah.
Pete, do you have a memory of when you saw this?
I do. I remember seeing this movie when you said, "Hey, let's watch this movie," because we're bumping another film. I'm like, okay, I remember this. I remember the cover. The cover is
iconic.
I love it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's
gorgeous.
It's great. And I was like, yeah, I remember this, and. Frankly, I don't remember if I saw it in the theater or if it was a VHS rental. It was, is this 84? 84. So that is a time in my life where I would have gone to see this in the theater, but not quite. We didn't have a VCR at that time. So I either saw it when it came out or I didn't. How about that for some riveting podcasting?
Woo!
You nailed it.
That tugs at the old nostalgia strings,
I know.
Pete.
Really
I love it.
But for whatever reason, I think this is the second time I've seen this. I never revisited it for whatever reason. I don't remember going back to this one.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So Nate, I have to ask you, but I know this was your first time watch.
Not on my radar at all. I do have theories here. I do want to piggyback off what Pete said though about the video game. Typically I've been trying to play the video games this year with the tie-in movies.
Yep.
I could not get my controller to sync for the life of me.
No.
So I didn't get to play it. I'll be troubleshooting that. Maybe on the next episode I'll get to do a little 5-minute blurb on it. Because I was really hoping I was going to kick so much ass in the game that I wouldn't be here tonight because I was going to get recruited to be the Last Starfighter. And then it put me in a weird predicament where if they tried to come down and be like, "You're the last Starfighter," like my controller don't work.
Right.
I-
My batteries are dead.
My batteries don't work. Yeah, my USB cable, which you don't know what it is yet, but you will in 30 years, it don't work.
No, they'll be like, "Oh, we have lightning cables." You're like, "Oh, I'm not iPhone." I was like, "Okay."
I got a Thunderbolt cable.
But the big thing, so 84, this is a really, really cool movie. 1984 has nothing but bangers. 84 is a hell of a year for film.
Is a
My
year.
God.
Yeah.
But I will say, so second grade, my life changed watching Star Wars. And I remember my family trying to introduce me into other space-esque movies, and they just weren't Star Wars. And I have a feeling that's going to be a lot of the conversation on my end tonight was I probably just maybe have been shown this, but I didn't care and just didn't watch it.
Do you remember what else your folks?
I remember like
tried to
Enemy
introduce you?
Mine being one of them.
Enemy Mine.
Battlestar.
That's
That
a
was later
heavy
in the
movie to
80s.
show a kid too, man.
Yeah, that's
the
a lot of
Alien. I don't
depth in
think,
that
or is it
movie.
Arena? Might have been another one.
Arena is a
I don't
kid
think I know
friendly.
I not like they ever sat down and been like, here is what's that other one of Aliens that was a TV show that I thought was garbage.
V?
Why? V. Yeah, hated V.
V
Thought that
from
was
Victory.
the dumbest, most boring thing ever.
Oh,
Battlestar Galactica was another
goodness
thing that
gracious.
never did anything for me. So, like if I had to guess, this was probably something that I was like, it's not Star Wars.
Fairness.
This is like Deep Star 6 all over again.
Yeah.
I didn't like underwater things. I didn't like other space movies that aren't Star Wars.
But I get it. As Nate as a kid, this is not. I'm not.
But as
banging
like
on
a
Nate,
kid,
but
it's
as
one
a
of those things
child,
like
the things like Enemy Mine and V.
And they don't have toys. I had toys for Star Wars.
A little over Nate's head.
Those were adult version of sci-fi movies.
Well, and that's the thing. I hated the Sci-Fi Channel growing up because I thought I played nothing but garbage.
Yeah, those movies were sci-fi versus Star Wars, which is way more fantasy.
CP, there he goes again. Even though fantasy doesn't have spaceships, fantasy has griffins.
Well, there's not griffins in Star Wars. There's all sorts of flying weird monsters in Star Wars.
There's Minox.
There's spaceships, sir. Lord of the Rings does not have spaceships.
But the lore in Star Wars leans heavily on the magic and not the science. Where where things like Last Starfighter lean heavily on the science, not the magic.
I don't know, but a lot of mystical nonsense ain't nothing like a good blaster on your side, Pete.
Yeah, that's sci-fi.
I'm paraphrasing, of course, because I didn't come prepared to talk about Star Wars as much. I came prepared to talk about Last Starfighter.
Yeah, so Charlie, what was your introduction to this? Because you're the one that kind of made this happen, and we're like, okay, we're on.
Delightfully, you toss us in our laps.
So this is one that goes right along with Nate. The person that introduced me to Star Wars also introduced me to The Last Starfighter, which was my Aunt Nellie. I actually read the novelization first as a kid. She had and I didn't have a chance to go try and dig it out. I think I still have it in one of my boxes.
Alan Dean Foster wrote that.
A well-read book, trust me, but it's one that I actually read multiple times. And then I finally got to see the movie, and I'm pretty sure I watched it on television first. And then my aunt got the VHS because she realized how much I really enjoyed it. And so I spent many a day when I'm over at my granny's watching The Last Starfighter. I know y'all hear this like, Charlie, how did you have so much time to watch these movies growing up? What else could I do? There was no internet. I watched Beastmaster. I watched The Last Starfighter.
I was going to say,
Star
like,
Wars.
if you weren't playing outside, you were just kind of watching movies.
Right.
And also back then, you watched the movie to its finish because there was nothing else on. So
daytime television sucked.
Yeah.
So
if it was on 45.
6 a.m. to 11 a.m. were nothing but cartoons. And then if you're lucky, you had a good afternoon movie. And then it was 2 o'clock, and then you go outside.
And then also,
and if it's raining, you're just stuck.
Yeah. If it was a weekday and I was at my grandmother's on the summertime, there definitely wasn't anything on. I'm like, so I watched a lot of movies as a kid, and I rewatched a lot of the same movies. So Last Starfighter, I can't tell you how many times I've seen this movie. This has been a staple for me growing up. I have loved this movie forever. I have the 25th anniversary Blu-ray.
It's time.
It's on sale right now, and I'm probably gonna buy it.
Yeah,
it's $6 on Amazon. I was like, I'll throw $6 at this.
Oh,
well worth
$6 on it. Oh shit!
Yeah,
because you also get the documentary. There's two different. There's two documentaries. There's the original, and then there's a newer one that they did.
That alone's worth $6 then, because
Yes.
I spent $4 to rent it because I was like, oh, like.
Well, you
I never checked Amazon. Yeah, exactly. So now that I'm looking at, and also it's like, well, maybe I'll hate it. I don't know.
True. I would have told you wouldn't, but you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes
there's something magical about this movie, though. Like it has a very. I don't. It has like everything that I think a very young, impressionable kid would like, because all of us played video games growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, whether it be Nintendo to the Super Nintendo to PlayStation era between the three of us, I mean, but this is definitely like you're playing video games. If all three of us have like an overreactive imagination, that kind of is the like, you know, when you're playing the video game, you're thinking that is you in.
Yeah, you're immersive into it.
Yeah, you know, exactly. And like the idea of going off on an adventure and saving something has always been so cool. I mean, that's why we like comic books.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's why we do this show. We immerse ourselves into a lot of these movies, and we were Alex standing in an arcade playing a machine trying.
I would have
played
this game because of the two joysticks.
This would
have been a guaranteed play.
It reminds me of Afterburner, which is my absolute favorite.
Yeah, there we go.
Arcade game.
Like, Zaxxon, not Zaxxon. What was the other one?
I think there was a couple other that had dual, but you know, you had the speed
because
control
even
missiles.
The Star Wars one was one joystick.
It was it was a yoke. No, not a yoke. That's not the wrong thing. It was a like not a steering wheel, but it was a.
It was like half of a steering wheel, but Nate's right. They also did in other updates that it was a single yoke because they added the dual with the lightsaber.
Oh, really?
And the joystick allowed you to feel more like you had a lightsaber. They did like a triple pack for a little while.
Oh, I must be thinking of a different Star Wars. The
one I'm thinking of is Uranus.
The Vectrix.
That's the original one that you're right. It has like a mini steering yoke,
which I'll still play to this day if I see it out in the wild. I'm like,
there's one at level 1. Nate, come on.
Yeah,
over.
There's one at
I just bought
16-bit
Last Starfighter on Blu-ray, by the way.
All right, if you're doing it, I'm gonna go buy it right now too.
He just bought some more shit.
All right. Tell you what, Nate just bought it too.
Yeah, Nate.
That's what I'm talking about. Episode's done. My job here is finished.
Bye. Good night, all.
I got them to buy the movie. No, but this movie, it brought those feelings of Star Wars, but it stood alone to where I felt like I related to this one more than I would have with Star Wars, because I wanted to be Luke Skywalker, but I could have been Alex Rogan. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's fair.
Wonderful, yes.
And
I didn't think about that.
Watching the behind the scenes, the way Nick and the writer, and I can't remember his name, approached this movie, they went, look, we know we're stepping our toes in George Lucas and Steven Spielberg's world. Yeah. Aliens coming to suburbia, going off on an adventure.
It's impossible to avoid.
How do you not step in puddles? So they changed it up. So instead of suburbia, they put it in a trailer park kind of out in the desert.
Which I liked.
I think it fits it so much more.
I like kind of this isolation loner type. He does have a girlfriend, you know, he's got the girl, but it's still like he and her are very much like, well, this is where we're going to grow up. This is where we're going to grow old. Like, we're stuck here because we've got family here.
And he doesn't want to admit to that. You know, he's very, it's that I have my eyes to the stars, but not like I'm going to go on a star adventure. I just know there's more out there in life for me.
Yeah. And he does flex a little bit towards or at, I should say, the other adolescents in the movie. He's like, I need to get out of here. I'm going to do something more for myself. And it was a little off-putting the way he said it. Like, he could just say like, I'm not long for this place. I'm just gonna go out and do my own thing.
See, I
Except
took it.
he was definitely flexing at those people. Like, I'm not staying here. I'm getting out of here, and I respect him for that. However, he was being a little, I don't know.
It kind of came off dickish.
See, I didn't take it so much as dickish as so much of more of like, I'm not the party goer. I'm not the person that is right in the back of the pickup truck and like chasing girls. Like, I just went out of this small
He
town.
wasn't chasing girls because he had a girl.
He had her.
Probably
Exactly
the best one in the trailer park. That's for sure.
But it seemed like all of his friends had girls and were still chasing girls. And it feels like these were friends by proximity, not just.
Right. I mean, that's what everything is. Friends by proximity. I mean, especially you and I, Nate. We grew up in rural areas.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't go like, I'm going to pick through 1,000 people and find my best friend. No, that dude that happened to live across the street.
Mm-hmm.
That's my best friend now. That's how that works.
I believe his relationship with his little brother, because they both grow up. They mentioned, we used to go in caves.
Yeah, they played hide and seek. And
yeah,
they share a room. You realize throughout the movie.
We have underground caves too.
Yeah. But there's no one in this movie that I don't believe as the character they're portraying. I love the trailer park, people that live there.
Tenants. Yeah,
the tenants.
You know what it reminded me
residents,
of?
Yeah,
the residents.
Because
it's another movie that I loved as a kid. Battery's Not Included.
Yes. All the people that lived in the apartment.
All the people that lived in the apartment. That's what it reminded me of. It's like,
I love that movie.
Just these characters that all are so used to being with one another.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of Batteries Not Included as a kid.
That trailer park, that was a community. They all lived in close proximity, and the beginning of the movie sets it up perfectly, where they're all yelling for this kid to fix everything.
They're passing the message down the line by yelling.
It's all the name game.
I'm gonna miss my stories. Where's Alex? My electricity's out again.
And it's soaps. She's gonna hyperventilate. She doesn't watch her soaps.
And everyone's worried because they know
they know what will happen.
She's gonna have a shit fit.
She's gonna be insufferable for the rest of the day.
Who was it that helped me with my antenna? Who was it that helped me do this? I'm not. Beta was my favorite character of the whole movie because Beta is a robot who is just annoyed. Not so much at people, not so much at the situation. It's just kind of, I am a beta. I'm only here. Yeah.
And I love that. And we haven't said, but Maggie, we call her Mags in there. Did you guys recognize her from anything?
She looked familiar, but no.
I've seen her face a million times, and I couldn't place it without looking it up. And
there's a little movie called Night of the Comet, where it's her holding the Uzi and the girl in the cheerleader outfit.
That's her?
That's Catherine Mary Stewart.
I'm surprised we haven't done that yet.
It's a very silly movie.
It's actually PG-13.
Yeah,
I always thought it was,
but it scared the hell out of me as a kid.
Oh yeah.
It's good.
Well, this
I didn't
one
know it was a
also
comedy.
has some moments in it too that this was still pre PG-13.
Yep.
And they actually had to cut some stuff so they didn't get an R rating in this
Interesting.
movie.
Like what?
Yeah.
Really? Do you know what they cut?
I know what they cut exactly. So we're not going to walk through the movie. So once Alex gets brought up to Rylos, and they're going through everything, and then Zur, the big hologram dude, pops up and he goes, "We've captured one of your spies."
Oh, the torture.
And they melt dude's head. They fully melted dude's head.
Oh, nice.
Full Indiana Jones.
Full
Raiders.
Full on.
Full Raiders,
Raiders of the Lost Ark. And they went, we had to cut it because we were wanting a PG-13 or a PG movie that would have put us at R-rated.
That was still pretty
interesting.
Gross.
Yeah, it was. It was cool.
That was still
and to this day, two scenes will be burned into my brain forever. One is, and I think it's Superman 3, but when the lady gets sucked into the computer and all of the metal pieces come flying and hit her on the face, and she turns into that robot. It's fucking terrifying. It's also when Beta is revealed on Alex's bed and he pulls the blanket back and the skin is still forming over the robot. It's
gooey.
The eyeballs
Gross.
have no
Yeah.
eyelids, and you're just, what is that?
There's an air bladder under all of his skin. And
There is.
breathing.
It's such a
pulsating.
weird unit, but it's like the Beta robot that has to replace Alex, so he's still on Earth, is forming. You know, like it's his name is very fitting. Where it's like we don't fully have the technology here, so it's like you add water.
He's one of those. It's real small. We used to get him.
He's a chichachia.
It's a Critters 2 where they look at the human and absorb their look.
Yeah.
Oh,
right?
the bounty hunters.
Yeah. The one bounty hunter never gets his face in part 1.
I'm previewing another movie coming up.
It turns into a woman?
Yeah.
No,
A Playboy Playmate.
Yeah.
Speaking of Playboy Playmates.
I knew you were going to
Yolanda.
From Little Brother Lewis. You don't go back to bed until a mom about your Playboys. Boom.
I died laughing. Oh my God. It made me
Lewis,
laugh so much.
you're having a nightmare as Beta's head is on the table and he's operating
good
himself.
It's
It
so-
is.
It's so cheap and it works perfectly.
So, fun fact, they did the first test screening and they said they had such a good response to Beta. They went back and did more scenes. They called,
good.
As they should.
They called Alex Lance Guest. They called him back. And there's a reason why Beta looks a little off. Alex had already started another movie and they cut all his hair off and he was sick. So if like the scene where he's in the back of the truck and he's like not paying attention, he does the weird laugh. Yeah. He's wearing a wig and they he was so sick. He was barely holding it together, but the director goes, but all we can say is, well, it's just Beta and he was low on oil. So that's how he played it off. But I was like, it works because he's a little off from Alex. I like it better than him being an exact replica of him.
He was still learning Alex's
mannerism,
manners, and his role in society.
And he doesn't know how to play like gland games either.
She stuck her tongue in my ear. Okay. Should I stick my tongue in your ear now?
Yeah. What a great line.
But I like
all the
dynamic.
Other girls meant nothing, honey.
That was so funny. I did like how they had Alex is in space he's been recruited, which we'll talk about that in a second. But how we were able to keep going back to Earth to still see.
And I didn't mind I was back on Earth.
Not at all.
Nope. We're like other movies.
You're
Movies, I'd be like, oh, get me back to space, get me back to the explosions. But no, I was like, I like both. This is a really cool dynamic.
In what's going on back at home?
Yeah, and I'll tell you,
because the guy has been displaced from his family and his community,
and he has an imposter.
Well, what else is going on back there?
And there's a intergalactic bounty hunter who looks fucking cool.
Oh, he's awesome, isn't he?
He looks so awesome. The way his face moves and his voice. Oh, I love this bounty hunter.
He had eyeballs off to the side.
He looks a little smoother head than The Fly, than Jeff Goldblum's The Fly.
Yeah.
Like it was more pink and smoother.
Not quite hammerhead, but it's a flatter, rounder. The eyes are. There's this one thing I've always been so like impressed by other movies that aren't Star Wars is Star Wars has given us so many different aliens that feel right. Where you're going, I want to do an alien movie. How do I create something that doesn't look like it was on Star Wars?
It's hard.
This bounty hunter feels that way.
Yep.
Now
you could take him and throw him in Star Wars and he'd fit perfectly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The shining thing in this entire movie, he's like the unsung hero to most people, is Rob Cobb. And this man, or Ron Cobb, this man worked on the special effects and art department of some of our most beloved movies like Conan the Barbarian, Total Recall, Running Man, Aliens. And he was the guy that helped create Creatures. He worked on A New Hope. but he drew all of like the Gunstar ship. He drew all of these things for the computer to map. And he's like, there's video of him like an architect would look, or a car designer, and he's drawing the Gunstar, just laying it all
like
out.
in AutoCAD.
He is a human AutoCAD.
Yeah.
So the computer knew what to do. He had to draw side, top, front, back, all the different angles of the ship on paper for them to trace and do the wireframe on the computer, which we're going to talk about that as well. But yeah, let's talk about Alex in space and
okay.
The shining star in this movie that pumps life into this no matter what, and that is Centauri. I fucking love this dude.
Centauri is awesome. I love this whole man is just like he built an arcade cabinet as a recruiting device, and it was supposed to go to Vegas. And I'll tell you right now, if that thing would have made it to Vegas, everyone would have been fucked because that thing would have been covered in pee. It would have been broken into, covered in stickers. Yeah. 1984 Vegas? Oh, dude, this thing's done for.
Oh, absolutely. And
humanity is screwed.
Do you have any idea how much money went into marketing and distribution to get that game out there in time before Christmas?
Yeah,
that's how much work Centauri had to put. He comes off as a used car salesman, but I love him still.
He's wonderful.
He's got this like I hate using the word con man.
He absolutely is.
Yeah, I was gonna say he reminds me of the guy that's selling the monorail on The Simpsons.
Monorail salesman.
Well, the dude was in The Music Man, and I know Charlie hates the musicals, but
I do. But
it's
I know
the same. It's the same character where he is kind of a town to town shyster, and he comes to this town and he says, yes, I can get all your children into this band, and he takes people's money and somehow he makes this band, but along the way he befriends everyone, and then he really wants to make this a real thing. This is we don't need to talk about The Music Man.
No, it's fine, but you're setting up what he is, because and that's the interesting way they kind of wrote this character is he sounds and acts this way, but as you watch the movie, you're almost kind of like Centauri knew the whole time. Like Centauri knew this was the kid. Like this is the guy that's gonna do it. This wasn't like him trying to scam Rylos or anything like that. He got paid. Yeah. He got paid. But ultimately, like towards the end, I felt like that was actually more of an act from him in a character, but he ultimately knew Alex was going to be the savior.
I don't think he would have gone to Earth, picked him up, brought him back to Earth,
and took him back again. Which is, I love that because
he was the
I thought that was great too.
They leave, and then Rylos gets attacked, because you're also sitting here going, well, he's supposed to be the last Starfighter, and there's like 12 Starfighters.
I had that saying when I was watching. I was like, why is he the last Starfighter? Like, what do they mean? And then all the Starfighters blew up, and I went, oh, I get it. So that's where this title comes from. Also, why'd you keep all your Starfighters in one room? That's probably shame on you, Rylos.
Well, I mean, it was a hangar, so I mean, you don't want.
I'm just saying, like, it's not like in Top Gun we kept Tom Cruise and Iceman. Well, we did, but the bad guy didn't know they weren't good enough to, destroy the ship, I guess.
It's like, why did all the bad guys keep all the planes at the airstrip? I don't know. Maybe they needed to be at the airstrip. I don't know.
Also, like, now that I think about it, not the best villain in this movie.
The villain
he just looks like
movie,
Mr. Burns with a spear.
Zur with the scepter. Oh my god. He is such a non-character in this that I don't even consider him the main bad.
No, he's not. Like, it's barely a villain. Like, that's my complaint with the movie is kind of the villains that are supposed to enslave all the universe.
Yeah.
And they're being ruled by Zur, who is a turncoat from Rylos. Literally, he gets a one sentence throwaway line. Not him, but about him at the very end, where it's just like Zur escaped and he's still out there.
It's because
obviously
they
sequel bait,
Yeah.
But just like Star Wars, where it's like Vader just spins off into the galaxy, but they don't even show him spin off. It's just like, Oh yeah, that guy is still around, I guess.
He's still around.
Out of there,
I don't know what the scepter does, but he's got it.
It's got a cool
got
knife.
spikes on
You
it.
can stab people
You can
with it, I
totally
guess.
stab people,
And
yeah.
it makes one of the monsters go, and that's about it.
You can cut your steak. It slices, it dices, it makes julienne fries. I mean, that's exactly what that scepter
Are
does.
you getting this mixed up once again with the George Foreman grill?
Very possibly. I watch
George
a lot
Foreman
of late
grill
night.
doesn't slice and dice though.
No,
No,
but
no.
if you ordered now, you
Yes,
got
it will come
into
with the
knife
slice
set.
and dicer. And what you do is you hit the pump a bunch.
Oh, the slap chop.
The slap chop.
Yeah.
or
The
whatever.
slap chop.
But you got to order now.
Order now.
3 easy payments of $19.99. Please
There was
ask your
also-
parents to use their credit card.
A lot of QVC at my
Or
grandma's house. I watched a lot of QVC.
I'm so mad we never got to order at least one thing off the TV.
Right? That's so
Just
cool.
one. It seems cool.
I've never even gone into one of those
As seen on TV stores?
Seen on TV stores.
Let me tell you, they're fucking cool. There's one down here in Jeffersonville.
Is there?
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
We
I don't know
we
if it's
gotta
still
go.
there, but it's awesome. It's
All right,
got
next time
everything
Charlie's
that
in
you've
town,
seen.
We're all
right.
going to go down there and
We're
buy
going.
something
We will.
stupid.
Road trip.
We'll go on another toy
If
adventure.
it's
and
closed,
stop.
I'll be
Exactly,
so
exactly, that's what
pumped.
it-
But no, that the villain isn't great. This battle that sounds like the entire universe is at stake is about 100 bad ships versus
In a row?
12 good ships.
Right.
And 11 of the good ships die before they ever even get out in space. So
Yeah.
we have one, and then
Well, he's the last.
I guess second to last, because Krieg, which we have to talk about.
They're team. It's a team though.
They're
I
a
mean,
team. One's a navigator, one's the
Yeah.
pilot / gunner. Do you guys know who Krieg is?
I do not.
I know his voice.
We should know his voice, and Nate's going to be like, "No fucking way!"
Nope.
when I tell him.
His voice sounded familiar, but I just could not pinpoint it.
Nope, me either. I
He is
didn't do a lot of research on this.
He's the old man from RoboCop that runs OCP.
No way.
Oh no, I have an
Really?
excuse to watch RoboCop
Now I gotta go watch
again.
RoboCop again.
Oh
right?
no.
He also runs the evil corporation in Halloween 3 that puts out the masks.
Oh no.
Really?
I have to
Yep.
go and watch Halloween 3
that's
again.
Silver Shamrock or whatever.
The Silver
Yeah.
Shamrock
Yeah.
guy that owns it. That Dan O'Halloran is who he is.
Oh, of course
and
he runs Silver Shamrock.
the,
Dan O'Halloran.
that voice. And as a kid, this is totally, excusable. But for a long time, I still to this day would get Louis Gossett Jr.
Yep.
from Enemy Mine mixed up with Grill.
Dude,
from
the same time, and that's the thing, like, I like Grig in this movie.
Grig.
I just don't like that creature design. It does get a good
Oh.
joke of like, oh, I'm stuck in space with a talking iguana. Cracks
that's
me
a
up.
good joke.
Mhm.
There's just something about that alien design doesn't really
Oh,
do it for
okay.
me. And same thing with Enemy Mine. Like, it just doesn't really.
I love Louis Gossett Jr.'s costume in Enemy Mine.
That's an opus.
Enemy
of an- of a-
Mine is
I need to revisit it.
damn near a perfect movie.
Mhm.
Seriously, it is. So it is not what you would consider a adventure sci-fi. Even though there is adventure, it's definitely sci-fi. It is very, like Pete just said, it's very operatic. There is a good story involved with it. My God, I could watch that movie anytime.
See, I need to give it another
love
try.
Enemy
I
Mine.
know
Yeah.
it's got Brian James in it, and I know how much you love Brian James.
I love Brian James, man. He's my dude. He's my dude. But yeah, I like the suit. I like what Krieg looks like, and I love how Dan gets that emotion through that heavy makeup. Like the way he does the laugh, he laughs like a horse.
It's
that
his
very-
eyes.
His
There's something about
eyes,
the way his eyes will move and his body
expressive.
language. Yeah.
it like the scene when Alex realizes that he is the last one. He's like, well, where's everybody else? Did they all get blown up? How many starfighters are left? And he's like, one. And it's just, it's us. And Alex is like, what's wrong with you? He's like, no, we got this.
He also has one wife and like what?
6,000
Yeah,
children or something?
6,000 kids.
Billions,
And then like
yeah.
throws up his future iPad and it has a literally a photo book of every single one.
Yeah, and it fast forwards through all of them.
The wife is him dressed up as the wife. So
Is it
it's
really?
Oh, that's even better.
It's Dan dressed up as the female version of
that's
that alien,
wonderful.
which is I love it to death. And also, to me, I still laugh at this line. It's when they're going to the frontier, which is the giant barricade of barrels around the area, and he's like, so what do? We just get up there and we start fighting? He goes, it's okay, it'll be fine. By the time we get there, I'll have it all figured out. And the alarm goes off. What's that? We're at the frontier. I was just, every time I laugh.
I think
And
it's
it's just
also
a great joke.
Kind of sarcastic where he's just like, well, I guess we'll just take you back to Earth.
Yeah.
Shame we can't play hide and seek.
Yeah. Like, oh, well, I guess the universe is doomed now.
We'll just take you back to Earth. I'm certain you'll
it'll
have a
be-
good life until
be
they come to
fine.
Earth.
Yeah, it'll be fine until they get to Earth, and then you won't have a
I'm
spaceship.
certain it'll be fine. Yeah.
Sorry.
It'll take him a little while. To
It gets
get there.
guilted into saving the universe.
So gets guilted into it.
Which maybe after commercial we can get into this whole fight, like the battle.
Yeah,
Okay.
And the graphic style for
That's
Oh, I
1994.
got so
Because I
much to talk
do
about.
want to
I
talk
can't
about the
wait,
graphic style.
All right, well, let's hit a commercial.
Okay.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
Hi, friends. The world got you down. Don't be sad. Listen to $2 Late Fee with Zach and Dustin.
$2 Late Fee is the podcast that celebrates the best decade of entertainment, the 1980s. We pick a movie and soundtrack from our youth that we loved and see if it holds up today. We also interview your favorite celebrities from that era.
All in the spirit of positivity and togetherness. Check us out at $2latefee.com.
Just how drunk are we gonna get?
Welcome to Good Beer, Bad Movie Night, where each month we drink finely crafted brews while watching terrible films in order to see just how drunk you have to get to enjoy them. So tune in and join Troy,
Killboy Kreitz.
Oh, that was pretty good.
Thank you.
Dave,
I have the weirdest boner.
and Pete. IPAs are ales, meaning they are bottom fermented. Excuse me, they are top fermented. I that up. Try that again. As we drag Kathleen, kicking and screaming through an alcohol-fueled podcast dedicated to movies of questionable quality and the frosty adult beverages that help make them tolerable. Good Beer, Bad Movie Night. Clearly, it's the beer's fault.
Now, back to G.I. Joe.
All right. So you know how I said 1984 is kind of a stacked year?
Yeah.
Are you going to read off some movies from 84?
No. I found a newspaper ad
You were going to
from
be here all night
1984.
long for 84.
Yeah.
So many.
Just this is the newspaper ad for Last Starfighter.
Okay.
So it has that with the screen times. It has Conan the Destroyer.
Oh my God, I love that movie.
Gremlins 1.
Yes.
Yep, Gremlins.
Rhinestone with Dolly Parton and Stallone.
Stallone. Yep.
And then it's got a late night show for the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Here's my money. I'm going to.
I would have been
Yeah, I know.
all
Like,
weekend.
so I'm stuck at the theater.
Yeah. I'll see you tomorrow, Mom and Dad.
Right,
I got a full
Because
day.
The Rocky Horror Picture Show, it says it's the midnight screening, and it's also House on Sorority Row is showing with it.
Oh,
so I'm
Wait,
guessing
this
that's
is
some
drive-thru?
sort of sorority, slasher.
man.
Yeah, sounds like a sweet double feature at midnight.
Right?
That's awesome. But yeah, so we're going to talk. This is 1984. This movie is a first of something. This movie is the first time that all of the special effects for the space is 100% computer generated.
No kidding.
100.
What about Tron though? I guess that wasn't outer space.
It wasn't outer space, and it was more or less computer graphics used to dictate computers, like computer screens and stuff like that was being used. But Tron, like they had Tron bikes, like practical bikes with the like when they're actually sitting on them. Now the lines was computer graphics when they did the race.
For sure.
This one, they used a supercomputer. I can't remember what the acronym was.
All 16 megabytes of it?
Dude, no, this was a super. This was used only by the government before Last Starfighter got to use it.
Oh man,
straight up. They were talking like the computer was so big you could stand in the middle of it. It was almost like a half cylinder. And you could, like, some guy was like standing in the middle working on it going, I wonder if I'll have kids in the future.
That was me with my parents' microwave because it was from the 80s.
Well, that's all
it wouldn't die. So they were like, we're going to keep it.
Don't leave the microwave door open when you're cooking.
Yeah,
food.
some of those you could.
I know you can.
I never tried, but I remember like how big it was. And like Dad, like, no, we ain't getting a new microwave till this thing like croaks. It took them forever to get a new microwave.
There was PSAs not to stand too close to the damn things when they were.
Well, here's the annoying thing: you had to put it in for like 3 minutes, and anything else be like, "Well, this is 30 seconds over at Kyle's house because his parents have an updated microwave." Doesn't matter.
That magnetron's got to get up to full speed, baby.
Heavy as hell. I remember when that thing finally broke, like it just sat in the backyard for a minute because of how hard it would be to carry it to the curb.
Was yours wood grained like ours?
It was wood.
Yeah,
of course it was.
Ours had the wood grain. It matched the television.
It was wood grain in the 80s. My God.
What a lovely decor.
We totally had that. Chrome start and open button at the bottom.
Yes.
We had the same microwave.
Hell yeah.
We're both going to get cancer at the same time. Woo! So, yeah, this movie literally broke ground for, like, even ILM was paying attention to what they were doing as far as the development of this. And like I said, with Ron Cobb, he was drawing it so the computer could copy what he drew into a wireframe. They developed the programming as they worked on the movie. They really come to a point where they go, okay, how many scenes, how many frames, all this stuff. And they calculated out the math going, that's going to take 17 months. A model company came in and said, we'll do it in 5 months. But they were so dead set on using this new system that the producer talked to the guy that was in charge, and he goes, don't come back in my fucking office with bad news like that. Go figure it out and get it done on time. So they literally figured out how to speed up the process of all these systems to where they were finally like what we're used to seeing. They're animating in real time. The first ones were, they did the programs, sent it through the computer, that then put it on film, and then they got to see what they did. And if it was off, they had to go back, change the program, put it on film, then they got to see it. They finally figured out how to do it in more of a real time. It's a fascinating behind the scenes of this.
That's on the Blu-ray, is it?
That's on the Blu-ray.
All right. Well, don't worry, Pete. In 2 days, we get our Blu-rays.
We do, don't we?
You guys get that.
But any other movie, I think I'd be upset to be like, all right, you have practical effects galore, but not like showing like model ships and stuff like that, like Star Wars. Now, but the big thing here is this has a very distinct art style for the CG that I told you guys in the text. I was like, it's kind of charming. It looks very cheap and it looks very Nintendo 64, but to the modern eye, you know,
to what we're looking
to the modern eye. Yeah. But there's something about like it that is charming, and the dedication of like, well, we're not going to go practical to this to practical and like blend it.
That would have cheapened it.
And that would have cheapened it big time. So, and now learning what you're saying, Charlie, because one of my complaints was, and like I said, this is the Star Wars kid in me, like the X-Wing fights are always so like thrilling because they're so fast, and it's just like brain candy to me. Like I just eat that up, and like it brings tears to my eyes because how much I love it. This is a little sluggish, a little slower for its fights.
That because remember 1984. You said Nintendo 64 level in 1984.
84, exactly.
Still in Atari. But here's a cool little thing that they tell you on there is before Last Starfighter, when this company was developing the system, they took X-Wings from Star Wars and animated them on the computer and made them do moves that the guy that did the X-Wing fights from Star Wars, he goes, how the fuck would I have ever been able to do that? He goes,
I think too, that's 76 because the movie came out in 77.
Because they showed, well, this was not before Star Wars came out. They took what they saw in Star Wars. So it's like 78, 79. So they used it as they were just playing around. Well, they actually showed it to ILM, and the guy who's in charge of the battles in space, he's watching what they did. Like one kind of takes off from the front, comes out of camera focus, circles back around and loops. And he goes, I don't even know how to visualize that to film it with a model. And they just did it in front of me. And here's the bitch of it. He goes, they showed it in a room and no one gave a shit. And he himself sat there and went, that is the future of filmmaking right there.
Makes sense.
And now it is.
Yeah.
Like now they say what they did in 84, we can do on a laptop, which is true. But they called it photorealistic. They wanted everything to be very smooth, very sharp, very precise, which is what the animation is in this. It's very what you would consider cheap computer graphics, even though this wasn't cheap. This was first computer graphics. I know I hate the term, Pete. It makes me kind of weird to say it too.
It hurts my soul because I think a lot of young people will look at this and go, "This is all cheap."
So
and it wasn't. It's the state of the art,
and that's the thing. It could be very.
You can pull yourself back and go, "This is 1984." Nothing like this had. Even Star Wars had nothing like this.
Nothing because Return's already done for it at this point.
Even though Star Wars looked better because of the modeling, this sort of thing is a revolution. This is a jump in technology that we had not seen. This is the Jurassic Park of the time, and I know that's a strong statement, but frankly, I think that's pretty accurate.
This movie broke ground. Now, what you just said is relevant to me watching this last night because this is one of the few movies that, hey, get everybody in here and we're all going to watch this movie. Because normally it's like, everybody go to bed. Dad's about to watch one of his movies for the podcast. My kids had zero interest in this movie.
Oh, no.
Once in a while, they would poke their heads up. And here's what really kind of broke my heart. Liam has been on a Star Wars bender ever since I took him to see the original trilogy at May 5th at the theater. He has rewatched all of the Star Wars movies every day since summer break started. And I was like, oh, this is going to be right up his alley. No.
Nothing.
Well, I think it's the same, maybe the same effect to me where it's like, oh, that isn't Star Wars. But if he saw this first, it probably could have.
I think, but I also think he is also now this newer generation where you were newer than me and Pete. Like I remember watching this for the first time going, this is amazing. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen on television.
That's fair.
It's all computerized. Also on a 19-inch square
CRT.
television.
Yeah, that has the same wood panel as the microwave in the kitchen.
Sometimes I would be like, why is the picture not coming in? And realize I was watching the microwave. And
well, that was also because of the radiation poisoning.
That happened a lot too. I ran into a lot of plate glass windows.
We're not on channel 200. It turns out that's 2 minutes.
That's right. Yep. Oops.
Now, what was I going to say?
I have no idea. But anyway, it was where I feel like there's such a disconnect with the kids now with what they expect.
But I do feel like I don't want to see like a remake of this, but I feel like even with today's like output with video games and how much more mainstream, like video games are like the hot thing, you know? So I make a requel of some sorts where it's like maybe Alex and Mags have been in space, everything's fine. There's a new Starfighter. Make a part 2 of some sort. I know there's been rumors from what I read.
Tried to do it twice now, and it keeps falling apart before they can get it closed. I think it's a rights thing right now.
And that makes sense. I don't know if a requel would fully work because how many people know of the Last Starfighter if you just said it to them? Like off the street.
How many people knew Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick was the top
I think
performing
Top
movie.
Gun
I
is,
think Top
is on
Gun was
that upper
pretty-
echelon of-
Yeah.
My kids, they don't know what Top Gun is.
Really?
They know Top
Huh.
Gun because of me, but they have no recollection of that
Okay.
movie.
I just
or
feel like Top
anything
Gun's
like that.
more popular than Last
Because
Starfighter.
we lived through it.
Yeah, that's true.
Last Starfighter did kind of fall to the wayside. Again, this is it's somewhat forgotten by some people. I mean, it is a cult classic now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of
Like
those
it's
that
going to have its
bombed,
dedicated following.
and it's come back. And then
But
they
I
were
do
talking
feel
about
like-
the reboot was supposed to be like what's going on with Alex and Maggie. Was it going to be Lewis that was like, I need to see my brother, and he goes up there to find him? Was it going to be Alex's kid, and Alex got killed in an attack?
See,
And
don't
now we
do
follow
that.
that. I don't.
And even Lewis being like, it shows him playing the game at the end, inspired by his brother. So you could even have it to where like he's up there in space.
I
like,
would have
they've
liked the
gone back
Lewis
and
line.
forth at this point, but there's something there. There is something that you could make a proper sequel. And I would even say, don't give it like crazy graphics. Kind of keep it within this like an updated version where it's still charming. I don't want to see Transformer-esque, state of the art technology being used.
That would ruin it. For me.
I want something that would be, modern but still simplified, where it's like
something as charming as
exactly
what we just
exactly the
saw.
word.
Yeah.
And let me tell you,
it doesn't need to be perfect.
No, not at all.
No, it doesn't.
And I think that would play into it.
I'll tell you this right now. Watching my Blu-ray, this movie is absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, the HD version was gorgeous to rent.
I mean, the colors are sharp. It pops. I honestly think it doesn't detract from the computer because, like we said, they didn't try. If they had tried to do model and then computer,
it would have been a bummer.
HD would have really killed it.
Yeah,
we've seen movies like that.
Yeah, you wouldn't have gotten the shading right.
It would have been
coding right. It would none of that would have matched.
It would have been Leprechaun in space because they tried to mix practical and CG,
or
and
you can literally count the polygons on screen.
Stop that! It's fine.
And I mean, I love
attention.
the design of the Gunstar. I love how they the actor Lance Guest said, when Alex is spinning around doing the Death Star, they literally strapped me in a
I was wondering about that.
Spun
How
him
did he not
around.
barf? I mean,
I got a feeling they did. Even the girl that played Mags, I guess, was on set that day, and she goes, "They spun him around like you wouldn't believe. Like he was all over the place." Well, like now you do it with cameras, but no, they put him in the gimbal and they spun his ass. It was hilarious.
Hell no, not going to do
but
that.
I love the interior of the ship. I believe they're inside of this.
I like that
Gunstar.
I like the way that it's set up with the two of them,
and he could spin around and talk, to him, and then
then the screen looks like the video game. The controls are just like the video game. Like that's all very charming. I like it. There's something about it just puts like a smile on my face.
Dude,
seeing it unfold.
I felt the smile on my face all last night. I was a kid again watching this movie. Even though my kids were having fun with it, I was having fun.
But as a kid, I have never seen anyone look around as I'm playing a video game about to beat something and be like, "You got it, go, go, go!"
I love that scene.
I would fuck up. I would jinx myself so badly. Like, don't put that pressure on me. I don't like that.
Oh, see, when I was playing competitive pinball, we would root each other on because it's all about. Yeah, I want to beat everybody, but I'm also excited to see someone doing well, and maybe that's different in the video game world. What's that?
Is there such a thing as full contact pinball? Maybe.
Yeah,
no,
does that work?
That's a great idea, though.
I'm telling you, I think we're onto something here.
That's not real cool, though. I mean, like you got your hands on the machine.
Yeah, but you got to really keep an eye for your enemies.
Yeah, I could come over and cause the machine to tilt.
Yeah,
and you have to defend. So you have defenders around you. So they're protecting you from my team.
Protect my flank. Get on my six.
Who are trying to get in and cause a tilt.
See,
I want Charlie on my team every time.
Yeah, exactly. He's my
wall
lineman.
of Charlie will not be breached.
Now, Pete, pinball question for you real quick because it's relevant.
What?
I was playing the Godzilla pinball when I was in Baltimore.
Yeah,
and I hit the ball and it launched somehow and got stuck.
Yep.
like
happens.
on the thing, and I didn't know how to get it. I kept slapping the machine. It was like tilt warning, tilt warning. I was like, all right, I got one more hit. Can I make it pop? And I couldn't make it pop. What do you do?
You go talk to somebody at the bar and say, "Hey, look, my ball is stuck," and they will come out and hopefully.
I got my ball stuck in your
I
machine.
I got my ball stuck. You don't put your testicles in the coin slot. That's not what they're for.
I was banging my balls on the machine, and they
How
got stuck.
else am I supposed to make money?
No, that's you just go ask the attendant, the bartender, say, "Hey,
that
look,
honestly
I got a
seems
ball
like
stuck. I tilted. It's up there." Now you could pick the machine up as gently as possible, but it's best to go talk to somebody.
Yeah, that
and
in
you'll get your money
hindsight.
back. They'll usually give
Nate's
you your money
like
back.
the legs would collapse under.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta pick it up, and they just collapse in.
Nate now owns a broken Godzilla pinball machine.
That'd be making a phone call to Pete, like, Pete.
Hey, I got a really sweet deal.
I got us a Godzilla pinball machine. Bad news. I broke it really badly.
It's a scratch and dent.
And I'm not welcome back to this bar in Baltimore.
We just had to go to Baltimore to pick it up.
Yeah, that's your thing.
Charlie's
Charlie, can you get the van?
Charlie would be closer.
I am closer. Yes, Nate, I'll be there in a few hours. Give me a minute. You're paying for the fuel. The final battle in this is very
it's quick.
It's quick. It's,
fast,
very Atari video game.
It really is. Yeah.
That is the era. I mean, we're still really early for Nintendo. And I like the hide and seek aspects. Like, we're one ship against an armada. Let's hide till they pass us. Okay. I'm
Good
down.
idea.
They get into the fight and then they start running out of power. All the ships converge, and all they have left to do is to hit the death button.
The Chekhov's gun death blossom.
Exactly.
Yes.
The death. We haven't tested it yet. We might blow up. I love that trope. We haven't tested the ultimate weapon. We might blow up, but it's okay. It's all we have. It's all we can do. And they literally take out every ship. It's cool. I loved it as a kid. That ship spinning around in a circle. It was like the cheat code on a Nintendo game.
It
you ever
is.
played Gradius, where you got all of the power-ups, the force field, the little ships, the lasers.
And they're all going everywhere.
If you could have spun it, and if you did the controller right, you could make the little ships spin around you. That's the Death Blossom. Yeah.
In Gradius?
In Gradius.
Wow.
If you spun the controller just right, you could make the little ships spin around you.
Way better than I am at games.
I love Gradius. And then now they get to take on the giant ship and everything, and they have to take out the back of it, which is hilarious.
And it's so slow, and my God, that finale. Go, Pete, go.
It made me laugh so much because
it's so funny.
the giant command ship ramming speed is what they do. Literally, that's how
they yell ramming speed.
What?
Now what do we do, sir?
The guns are out. I don't care. Ramming speed, and that's exactly what they do. And then they miss. It's all intense. Where the Alex's ship is like, oh, we can't. We have to bypass the manifold to the electric microwave, and then we'll get power back.
Our 84 microwave we smuggled back with us. We told Alex not to bring it, but they bypass into life support
out of that to make this work. Right.
It was such a Star Trek moment from the original series. I can't do it, Captain. I have to tie us into the life support system, the lithium crystals that are going to explode. That was terrible, Scotty, but I did it anyway. You're welcome.
So, but the command ship, they get out of the way. The command ship is just going straight towards the moon, and one of my favorite. So the moon, there's like three things going on all at once here. So you got this big old command ship, and as it crashes into the moon, it doesn't get smaller and smaller and smaller. This command ship
the same size.
Stays 8 bajillion miles long to crash into this moon. Whereas if the moon was actually the size of a moon, it would have gotten smaller and smaller.
That's no moon. That's a computer graphic.
Right. I'm pretty sure that that the the final explosion was the Death Star, they just put a moon sticker over
It's close.
the am I wrong?
It feels
am
like
I wrong?
it.
I feel like it's the exact same explosion every time something blows up.
Yeah,
When they blew up the hangar was a
Yes.
smaller version of the big explosion at the end. Hey, I'm cutting them some slack because that probably took like 5 weeks to make that explosion.
I am not. This does not
No,
detract from
but
my
it's-
enjoyment of the movie at all whatsoever. But it
and everything
made me
like
laugh.
dissipates, and it's just the moon sitting there in the shot for a
there.
second, like nothing happened, and the ship's gone.
Like they're like it's a Photoshop layer. Like in the
Yeah.
background, an explosion happened,
It's-
and there was a sticker of a moon here, and then you had
You
the-
guys are missing the best part though, which is
Oh, what
showing
did I
our
miss?
two. You see our two gentlemen in the spaceship
I
going.
wasn't missing it. I was saving it.
Then they go. Well, one goes, "Well, what do we do?" And the other one goes, "We die." And then they blow up.
I didn't miss it. I was saving it. Someone had to go ahead and do it.
after his eyeball vision thing.
His monocle. He
Monocle,
has
right.
the little monocle that flips
Eyeball vision
around,
thing. Good lord.
like he was
It's a
getting ready to
space monocle.
he was getting ready to play a game of laser tag, and the targeting thing flipped over his eyeball. I love it. I love it so much.
It was
Alex
the
goes.
best. Oh.
Alex goes back to Earth to get Maggie and take her back because now he's like the savior. He gets to rebuild the entire civilization almost. Because I'm like, where is everyone? Is
Yeah,
everyone on
like,
there?
It's the leader of the Starfighters now.
Yeah,
or
he gets to
something. Yeah.
rebuild the Starfighter Legion, and victory or death. And I guess they took victory this time.
That's right.
I love that was their battle cry. It's like, good. Glad we workshopped that one. That one worked out really good. He goes back home, convinces
like a
Max to
Klingon
come back
thing.
with him, and the movie ends with Lewis playing the video game, trying to be like his big brother. So,
Yep.
It's a happy ending.
It's such a happy
It's such a
ending.
good '80s feel good ending.
All of the good guys live.
Yeah, Granny gets to point a shotgun at an alien.
Does get
Since-
that is
That was
totally
hilarious.
what happened in the
Granny
trailer.
put the gun away. Oh God, I love it. We also Centauri dies in this movie and comes back to life,
Yeah,
and
he
he's
comes
like,
back to
I
life.
just had to hibernate for a little bit,
Just
and
like
then
a
I
con
did."
man.
Right.
He goes, you got to stop thinking so earthly. You got to start thinking bigger out here. I was like, I love it. I love.
So didn't he say Granny put the shotgun away before you saw Granny with the shotgun?
No, it was
No.
she was carrying it, and someone
Oh, okay.
pushed her hand down, like, oh, it's Alex. But
Yeah.
then when Greg come out of the ship, it whipped right back up again.
Yeah, it did.
That's it.
And then
Yeah.
he goes, Granny, put the gun down. It's okay.
That's what I missed. I didn't see her point the gun at him. All I heard was Granny put the gun down, and all of a sudden this old lady's got a shotgun.
There's an alien turtle coming out of the ship. Of course she's
Right.
going to pull a shotgun out on it. Oh, I love it, dude. This movie is near and dear to my heart, man. I absolutely love it. I love that you guys love
be
this.
happier
Yeah,
watching
I'm
this.
really happy that we had to pivot and change plans for this because
Not that I didn't want to see the other movie.
No, the
Exactly.
other one I'm
But
still looking forward
it'll
to.
this-
happen.
It will.
It's going to happen, right?
Scheduling,
Right,
and you'll
but-
understand when we get there.
yeah.
We're keeping it
It's
somewhat
all good.
mysterious. So I'm going to play the drops, but obviously we're going to do this a little bit.
Yeah.
Leave anything for us?
Yikes. Body count.
Body count, body count, body count, body count.
I couldn't come up with a body count for
You
this.
can't because how many
Yeah.
people are in each ship and how many
Yeah.
ships were in the Armada?
Armada. How many ships were in Menards? I have
Yeah,
no
that's
idea, Pete.
true.
I wasn't at Menards today.
They're in aisle 12.
How many were in the Armada? No, it's all the bad guys but one die, and all the starfighters except one die. So
Yep.
that's pretty much how you look at the
You
body
do the
count.
math.
Everybody's
Exactly. Hey, this movie's PG. Did you really think I was going to give you all an accurate body count in this? No. But we can pick our favorite
Have
day.
you ever killed anyone?
Yeah, but they were all bad.
This is what I'll say, because I'm doing mine now because Nate already ruined it.
Yeah, I didn't know mine was a ruin, I guess.
I know what you're doing,
Mine
yeah.
was Lord Krill getting ready to crash into the planet, and they go, "What do we do?" And he goes, "We die." I said it right when he said it.
So
Jackie's looking at me like, of course you know this movie. And I'm like, oh yeah. It's like, we die and the ship blows up. That's my kill of this movie.
It's so silly. Like,
he is my villain in this entire movie.
He is, and I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, I haven't
He's
seen
in
this
charge.
movie in 30 plus years, and I said that quote right before he did it, whether I knew it or not. I'm like, oh, we die. We die.
He was kind of like the, Tarkin to Darth Vader, I guess, is what they were going for.
Sure.
Because the one dude gets jettisoned out. We never even see the escape pod. Like, how did he get out?
We don't know.
Where did he go?
Yeah.
We don't know. But Lord Krill in that bright ass orange full bodysuit and his monocle will forever be my favorite kill in this
Hard to
movie.
beat.
Pete, what about you, bud? What's your favorite kill in this movie?
Face melt, dude. That
100%.
was gross. It was really gross because they had this guy. They had this red light on him, and his face just started boiling and leaking.
It's graphic.
Oh man,
even for what they left in the movie.
Yeah, it's graphic.
It's good. That's mine for sure.
Nate, what about you, bud?
I'm gonna go if We Die. It is a kids movie. It's very hard to come up with it. I think you two kind of nailed the best ones.
I thought he was gonna go for
We
the
Die made me laugh the hardest. Oh man, that is a good one. Yeah,
because they shoot his arm off.
Yeah,
balls. He can still control the arm.
Oh, that's right.
And he shoots Centauri, and Centauri gets a shot out and vaporizes, and it's like sizzling and burns like, Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru in Star Wars. Oh, little toasty. No, but I still say it's Krill. Because he got a badass line for not having a whole lot of lines other than how long are we going to deal with this guy? Not much longer. I just love. There's already dissension in the ranks, and the poor little creatures that are also like their minions. I read that their original thought, which I didn't dive into in the movie, is they're actually like circuitly put into all these contraptions. Like if they're on the bridge, they're wired into the bridge. If they're in the ship, they're wired, because that one like explodes. Its brain has like the electrical pieces and it's like frying itself on the bridge. They're like, yeah, it's kind of like they were integrated into all of the ships there. And so when the ship goes out, yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like they had a lot of lore developed and they just didn't have time to put it all in.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it felt like. And that's where a sequel would have been nice to have.
But I'm glad they didn't, because this is a perfectly paced movie. This movie does not wear out.
It doesn't feel like an hour and 40 at all.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Like it's a breeze to get through. Had you started adding way too much like extra shit to it, it would have drug it out more. Even though there's things that you would like to understand a little bit more, you were just like, I don't need to know. Centauri talks so fast, I think it helps speed up a lot of, like, well, this is what I did. I put this game over here. You got to come help us. We got to go do this. No, come on, let's go. You got to trust Centauri. Centauri is the man to trust. And you're like, oh, okay. That's all I need to know. And, Beta touches Alex, shakes his hand, boom, spark. He's out of the car. And we're told everything we need to know about Beta as the story goes. So well done. Really well done script. This movie deserved to be a lot higher. I don't want to say this.
It deserves more love.
It
just deserves a second life.
It does.
Even though Megaforce is getting a documentary of such giant scale, and I look forward to watching the documentary on Wednesday when I get my Blu-ray. But I feel like this kind of deserves something of similar. As far as cons go, I know Nick Castle's coming to Columbus in December, so maybe I'll have him sign my copy. But also, why have I not seen like a Last Starfighter reunion? This is 2024 at this point. This would be the perfect time to do an anniversary.
Oh yeah,
for this, and nothing.
Yeah, because the Blu-ray's the 25th anniversary.
Yeah,
this would be the 40th anniversary. I'm 44.
40th anniversary.
But I know Lance has done conventions, and I'm pretty sure Catherine Stewart has done conventions. Centauri obviously passed away. This was his last theatrical. He did two made for TV movies after this, but this was his last theatrical release.
But if you got Alex, you got Mags, you get Lewis, and get Nick Castle together, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good group.
Yeah.
Get some people to cosplay, as Greg and a couple
Granny.
of the.
I think the Last Starfighter costume's great.
You have to clear that shotgun with the people in the front though.
Nerf gun.
Make a foam one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make a foam one that's orange.
Oh, I would love for them to act like people really get into it and like cosplay as the trailer park residents.
Yeah.
Really get into it. Yeah, Nate, and you're right. The costume for the Starfighter,
I like it.
I do too, because they knew they couldn't copy Star Wars, but they still needed a vibe. This stands on its own. I still, to this day, I never watched Last Starfighter going, I'd rather watch this isn't a dig at you, Nate, but it's not like,
no, I don't take it that way.
Star Wars. I looked at these as just two completely different movies, which is what they intended. And it worked for me as a kid. One was more terrestrial for Earth. The other was in a galaxy far, far away.
One was more sci-fi. The other was more fantasy.
Stop it!
You son of a bitch.
Not a. All right,
oh my God.
One was based in science. One was based in magic.
Just so happens we need to rate this thing, and not.
I love Star Wars. Don't get me wrong.
Lay that over top of Pete saying blasphemy.
I figured.
All right, well, let's rate this bad boy. Pete, let's start with you again, bud. What are you giving the Last Starfighter?
Look, this is a strong recommend. It's 8.5. This is a strong recommend. Yes, that's it. I'm done. 8.5.
I love it when I leave him speechless. That makes me so happy. Nate, what about you, bud?
I really enjoyed this. I'm sad that when I rented it, that I didn't just flat out buy it. But it's one of those digital copies. Like, oh, this is way too much. I'm not spending that. Like when something's on sale, I'll just flat out buy it. I don't care.
$6 for a Blu-ray.
But now knowing the physical copy is that easy. It's a solid 8 for me. This is a fun movie. Watch this movie. I know it's not streaming for technically free anywhere, but do what Pete and I did. If by the time this drops, maybe it's still on sale for $6 and just
go
blindly buy it.
This is worth it.
I honestly think I only paid like $6 for mine too, guys. Yeah. So it's been on. I mean, it was the 25th anniversary of the Blu-ray. So that's been a little while.
That means I'm surprised we're not getting a 40th anniversary 4K release.
I think there's a 4K getting ready either to come out or just came out.
I'm cool just owning the Blu-ray for this.
The Blu-ray is gorgeous. I can't imagine how much more the 4K can give me.
But it's one of those things where it's like, this is kind of like just a really nice kids movie. Like at the end of the day, it's just a fun, and it just reminds me of those type of movies that you watched as a kid where you just want to see the hero rise up to an occasion and win. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a classic story. Yeah. And it's like getting to see it be a teenage boy, just kind of doing it. And this is going to lead into homework after Charlie gives his review.
Yeah. It's heavily influenced by Excalibur, the King Arthur mythos.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Well, they actually say it in there. They go, "Oh, is this your Excalibur test again, Centauri?" But the writer, he said, he was just writing screenplays. He had downtime at his job. He walked past an arcade and he saw kids just standing there playing it, and he had a thought like, well, what if that was like a test, or what if you got whisked away into that world and it was like King Arthur, you pull the sword from the stone.
That's a good point.
And so they found it, and that's what Centauri gets very offended, because he's like, it's no sword in a stone, it's a test, it's but as far as my score, I mean, I have heavy nostalgia for this. This is a 9 all day for me. This is high recommend for everyone. I may try this again with my kids a little bit later and be like, okay, we're having an unplugged night. Turn off all of the shit. And
might be the way to go.
Dude, my youngest can be watching Star Wars, have YouTube playing, and have a Nintendo Switch in his hand. That's it.
Well, like the other thing too, maybe you pitch it like, because when I was watching this is just a Rick and Morty episode. It
Without
really is.
Without the vulgarity? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, this is
And the
Morty would be the
sexuality
one who
and the
gets thrown.
disgustingness and
Yeah,
the-
like Morty would be the one who accidentally gets sucked into the video game and has to save the planet, doesn't want to. Rick is back on Earth or something like that, using a Morty beta clone to, trick Jerry and them. Like,
I want them to parody this now.
you
in the next
have
season.
all of
How have
the
they not done it
all of
already?
the aliens are the same type of aliens you would see in Rick and Morty. Like it really meshes so well.
Oh, great. What an idea.
Yeah.
No, I would be totally down for that. So, all right, we haven't done this in a while. We do have homework tonight, Nate.
We do.
So
We
why don't you
do.
tell us what our homework is?
Thanks, Nate.
So I
This is your
propose to
fault.
you guys, you're welcome. Because we're not doing trash opinions. I couldn't find a good one.
Good.
So this is homework.
Awesome.
I like
Perfect.
it.
I like that. The sound drop is gone now. I took it off.
I'll do
Instead
homework
of
any day over trash opinion.
no, I like both, but not today.
Ah,
So I asked you guys not like what was your favorite game, but like, or what game did you want to get sucked into? What is a game that you feel confident enough that if you got sucked into, you might do just all right in?
That's
so
a
hard.
lot.
Because like, if I were to be like, oh, Gears of War, it's like, no, I'm terrible at Gears of War.
right.
Cody
right.
has played this online with me many times. He knows this. You don't want me playing that game with you. I'm terrible at it, but I still love it. But that's not my answer here. Mario Kart is not my answer because, like, I talk a lot of shit. Not good at it.
He'd get turtle shelled immediately.
Exactly. I could go first to kind of get this going.
You go first. I have a couple ideas.
Honestly, Halo. I am not that bad at Halo. I can kind of stand my ground on that. I've beaten a couple of them on Legendary by myself. So I feel like Halo, I would stand a little bit of a chance. Not saying I would want to do that, but that's a game I'm decent at.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah.
Well,
Charlie, what about you?
Well, I was gonna say I took this a couple different ways. I'm like, well, is it a game I'm good at as me, or is it a game I think I would be good at if I was actually in it?
Oh, I gotcha.
So I was because I was like, there's no way I'm going to try and go in Halo. Like
Nate knows I don't want to, but like if they were to happen to be like, hey, you did really good, you're getting sucked up into the Halo, I'd be like, man, maybe I should have played more like Rocket League or something.
Not to mention that Nate remembers this, but when my last Halo ventures was Halo 3, when we would all sit there and play. None of this new shit. So Charlie doesn't know that stuff.
This grappling hook, what is it doing?
Force fields. Where's my bazooka? Where's my rocket launcher? I kind of said the game that I was really good at that I think I would probably be good at, and that was Gradius. I loved that on NES.
Gradius. Yeah, sure.
But I was also like, what game am I playing now that I can't put down? I absolutely love. I've beat it. I'm good at it, and I would love to be in it. And that's Broforce. Where it's all my 80s and
Broforce
90s
is a very,
heroes.
very good answer. It's a 16-bit side-scroller shooter that is like Contra, but it's
Contra,
Rambro. It is Ashley
Command
Bro
Bro.
Williams, Command Bro.
All their names have bro in it.
Yeah.
Bro Pliskin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they all have their own like abilities.
They have their power. Like Commando has a rocket launcher. Rambro has a machine gun and grenades. There's Brode, who is the bride from Kill Bill.
Yep.
So you have a sword. Braid is blade.
Yeah.
There's so many.
I can't stop playing that game. I've beat it. The only thing I haven't beat is Iron Bro mode, where if a dude dies, he's gone. I'm working my way through that, but I can put it on arcade mode, and I will just play that game over and over and over again. So I would go into the Broforce world where I fight aliens and Satan.
I was gonna say, you literally fight xenomorphs in that game.
It's so much fun. Oh, and you can be the Brodator, which is the Predator.
All right, I gotta check that one out.
Oh, and it's cheap right now too, so it's like a couple bucks. And
All right.
It's worth like the $4. You be Brodell Walker, who's just Texas Ranger. McBrover. It's MacGyver.
You can be the Rocket Bro. It's the Rocketeer.
Oh,
Brominator.
Is there Brozilla,
Brominator.
maybe?
So
Yep.
you're the.
How did we forget this? Time Bro.
Time Bro.
Time Bro.
And who's the other? There's usually like two of each. Oh, there's Demolition Bro, which is Demolition Man.
There is the Boondock Saints, but I don't remember what they're called. You get both of them.
The Brodock Saints.
Brodock Saints.
Brodock Saints. There's Tank Bro, which is Tank Girl.
Oh my God.
Bronin, the Brobarian.
Yeah. You got that one.
Ellen Ripbro.
Ellen Ripbro. You get to be Ripley.
Nice.
Brochetti.
Oh,
Brochetti.
Universal Soldier, which is the other Van Damme.
What we're saying is play Broforce.
This turned into like a 5-minute commercial for Broforce.
Yeah.
I'm not making any of this up either.
They're amazing.
It is the funnest game I have ever played. If you love old school Nintendo, but you just want to like a mindless side scroller, kill bad guys. Explosions.
Yeah. Totally looking this up.
It's a blast. It's a blast. All right. Pete, what about you? What movie, what game are you
can't
picking?
follow that shit.
It's like, you're supposed to go last when you have that shit.
No kidding. So in the arcade, I really liked elevator action. I could play that game really well. And hey guys, I'm really old. This is my favorite game.
I'm like, what's elevator action?
I haven't even seen that game.
Yeah,
in like
that was
30
one of my
years.
favorites. So if I gotta go mainstream, it's Miss Pac-Man. I could play Miss Pac-Man for quite a while. And I would actually, when we went to Studio 35 and they had a Miss Pac-Man, I could play that and I would like miss the first 15, 20 minutes of the movie because I'm still playing Miss Pac-Man.
Well, those are trailers, so we understand.
So what just hit me is that Pete is Adam Sandler in the hit movie
Putting
Pixels.
that together myself going, he was in Pixels.
Yeah, that's what Pete is.
I haven't seen that one. Okay.
That's where the world is being invaded by aliens and they've taken the form of old arcade games. Like
and
the
they gotta
Ghost
get
and the Centipede.
Peter Dinklage in a mullet to save the day as well.
Who is playing the guy that is in all the trouble for like faking the Donkey Kong record?
God,
I can't think of the dude's name.
I can't either, but Peter Dinklage steals the show because he's a phenomenal actor, and seeing him in a mullet and just, oh my God.
The mullet, he looks just like him, but miniature version. It is so fucking funny.
The
dude.
American tie and all that shit.
Yeah.
And the stupid beard.
Yeah.
If it was a console game, it would be Crash Bandicoot's CRT, the kart racing.
Oh, that was fun.
That is a fun one. I like that one.
I had a PlayStation, and I still have my original disc for Crash Team Racing.
Mm-hmm.
I was very, very good at that for a long. Like I beat it a number of times, and no one could. It was
overshadowed by Mario Kart, but damn, I love
it was a
that
good
game.
competitor, though.
Just different enough for Mario Kart that Mario Kart was I couldn't wrap my brain around it a lot of times, but I also didn't have a 64. So
fair.
Crash. I've got the new one for the Xbox, and it's just they redid all the old courses and added a whole bunch of new ones. So
I played some of the updated ones.
Yeah,
I enjoy. I went from Nintendo to PlayStation. I didn't have any of the ones in between. I'd borrow my cousins. That's where I would play like their 64, and they had Shadows of the Empire, which you got to play as the snow speeder attacking the AT-ATs at the beginning. Dash Rendar.
Or Prince Shizor, or whatever his name was.
Prince Zizor with the Black Sun Syndicate. So good. So
Black
good.
Sun, that's right. Oh, wow.
All right. Well, good homework, gentlemen.
That was
Congratulations all around. That was good.
We all
Excellent
win.
episode. This was fantastic, man. This is kid movie, but we weren't kid friendly about it. So it's totally
I don't think
fine.
you were too offensive, but
I don't think so. I think we're our normal ways about it, but no, I'm really happy we got to cover this, especially for Space Month. I know Nate's been hating on the themes, and I'm with him.
I like Space Month, though.
Space Month has turned into a really good month.
The only reason I'm anti-theme now, even though I came up with most of the themes, and I'm kind of annoyed with myself, is just, like, turns out there's other movies I wanted to pick, and they're not related to the themes.
We'll
That's
get
all.
to them.
Didn't we free up something coming up, and then he immediately tried to fill the spot?
Yeah, he sure did.
Like, let it breathe, son. And he's like, no, this movie. I'm like, that defeats the purpose of not having a theme if you fill
I
it
was
all
just
up.
so excited to have a freebie.
I know.
Like,
Immediately
I was
didn't
just
want
like,
to lose his spot in line.
I was ready to go. I was like, no theme.
No. This. And even
I'm
that got
Jonesing here. I'm Jonesing.
Even that got changed too now. So, all right. Well, we got one more to go in Space Month. We are ending it out with our big 4 podcast collaboration we told you about.
Oh my gosh.
We are covering the first 4 Critter movies. The first Critters will be done by A Cut Above. We are doing Critters 2. Spoils of Horror is getting Critters 3. And Cinema Slab is getting Critters 4.
Man, we still get the best one.
I still say we
We
won
get the
again,
best
gentlemen.
The best
Yeah.
one.
We haven't even started.
Now-
I'd say we win again.
Last
win.
year, it was the Children of the Corn 1, 2, and 3.
Well,
Yep.
3
and that
pretty
was
good.
with 1 with A Cut Above, 2
Still
with
think we
us,
won.
3 with Spoils. We won that one.
still
We win this
barely-
one.
We barely
We
won.
barely won.
Yeah, we barely won, but I still say we pulled it
3
out.
was a close contender.
It was pretty good.
I do hope that next year we can do Children of the Corn 4, 5, and 6 because I have a feeling that we're going to win.
No.
I have a feeling.
No.
Does that we would get 5.
We would get no. Yeah, 5's got a lot of like talent in it.
That's right. There is some
Yeah.
bigger names
I
than
haven't
5.
looked them up. I don't think I want to. I don't want
It's
to.
probably terrible, but
I don't know. Or we'll pick a whole nother franchise because I love how we've gone from Children of the Corn to Critters.
yeah.
That's a big jump in the
We
genre.
could do Puppet Master and
Well, we've already done 1 and
we-
2.
Yeah, we've already started. We have a whole thing with Puppet Master. over
Yeah,
here.
you can't.
I
Yeah.
That's our thing.
Yeah, and then we don't.
Is that our thing?
We don't even share
don't
that
share.
with the Evil Deaths.
Yeah. Yeah, the Evil Deaths is like lucky that we even let them in on the conversation.
Oh,
Right.
that's not nice. I like the
Right.
Evil Deaths.
Well, it's
I-
because Joshy and Bert haven't texted me in like 2 days.
Well, I had to
I
threaten them
haven't
during their
texted you in 2 days.
mystery May. I was like, if the last movie's not Smokey and the Bandit 3, Smokey is the Bandit. I was
Dude,
going to
I was
burn
pissed that it wasn't
my
Smokey and the
copy.
Bandit 3.
They started the episode as
I
it
know
was, so
they-
I was happy that they at least acknowledged my answer for all 4 movies all month. It will forever be my answer for anyone that asks me what movie you're covering this week. Smokey and the Bandit 3, Smokey is the Bandit. All right, we're done jibber jabbering. We're not going to make this a 2-hour episode.
No.
Go watch Last Starfighter. It's an absolute blast. And if you want to follow us and keep up with what's going on, you can see us over at Give Me Back My Action Movies, the Facebook group. Give Me Back My Horror Movies, the Facebook group. We are both on Instagram. We are on X. We are on Threads. We are on TikTok. I hate social media, so I don't post on all of them all the time, but we're there.
There's like a
Instagram.
new one now, like called Kara or
Yeah,
something.
well,
I
stop
don't
it.
know.
You know what? Everyone's going to go there, and then Meta's going to buy it.
Yep.
That's what's going to happen. Because I hate to tell them this, as soon as something gets popular, Meta
Meta buys
either
it.
says we buy it or we'll block it, and Google will block it,
Or
and no
we'll
one
make
will
it go
there.
to Congress to get it banned from the United States.
that too,
Mhm.
or someone will buy it with a lot of fake money and
Yeah.
and Tesla cars. I don't know who we're talking about.
Fake Tesla cars.
Fake Cybertruck.
I saw a Cybertruck in the wild for the first time.
It's dumb, isn't it?
It's the dumbest thing
I
ever.
think I did too. I went, what the hell is that? It went by so fast.
I saw one. It was just like, oh my God. It's like seeing a unicorn, but like if the unicorn was super ugly.
If the unicorn was next to a
Stupid.
microwave back in 1984.
Yeah, that's what I found.
You know what make them Cybertrucks look awesome? Wood paneling. All
Yes.
right, let's get out of here, boys.
Cybertruck Woody.
All right, Charlie, what's a good word?
Pete, if you don't go back to sleep, I'm telling Mom about your Playboys.
That's fair. So, So 1992, I left home for college, and I left all my belongings behind because, you know, you're a freshman in college, you don't need nothing but some clothes, right?
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure I left a whole stack of Playboys and Penthouse hidden somewhere in my room, and a couple years later, I come home and just I'm looking through all my old stuff, and those magazines are nowhere to be found. So
No.
I'm pretty sure mom and or dad found them, and maybe they just added them to their collection. I don't know.
Maybe. Dad's collection was locked up. Never could get into that.
No,
whatever it was. Yeah, like it wasn't like a briefcase, but it was some sort of locked up unit. Couldn't get into it. Tried.
We used to get hot rod magazine and truck magazines, and they'd have bikini girls in it. And my mom would sit in there with a magic marker and draw clothes on them.
Well, were they bikini girls or were they nudes?
Yeah.
They're
No, bikini girls.
And
I mean, you're talking the 90s. There's not a lot of bikini on some of them girls.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
Now,
She magic markered more clothes.
Yeah.
Papa's Garage had all the nudie calendars up, and they're all from years ago, but it was just like,
right.
Papa's Garage is pretty cool, and I don't know why.
That was Dad's mechanic box. If you flipped the top lid, they were all there. So the top lid usually stayed down till I realized they were there, because he was like, "Hey, I need this. It's up there on the top." Oh yeah, top. Go ahead.
Get that. Don't worry about it.
You need a what? I don't remember.
Yep.
Dreamweaver just started playing in my head for some reason.